segment where we do the debates getting the buzz online today, and one of the most discussed stories, once again, is Susan Boyle. This video of her on Britain's Got Talent looks set to become the world's most watched web video clip ever. About 100 million people have now watched it over the last week and a half, including the Hollywood star Demi Moore. Now that's far more than this famous clip of an Iraqi journalist throwing a shoe at President Bush. Now that spread across the web last year. Even President Obama's web popularity can't match Susan Boyle. His election victory speech was only seen by 20 million people. This is according to web analysts' Visible Measures. Though she still has a while to go before her video catches up with the world's most watched YouTube video. Almost 120 million people have watched Evolution of Dance since it was first posted online back in 2006. So, what has made Susan Boyle's video quite so popular? Joining us from central London is Lee Holmwood, the Guardian's media commentator. Also Scott Button, a viral video marketing expert who runs Unruly Media. Lee, you start us off. What makes a clip so popular?
Several things, really. I think this one's taken everyone by surprise, really. She was on screen for literally 3 minutes a week ago, and suddenly, last week, it was the most watched video on YouTube globally. I think this one's really taken off because America's got behind it, which is surprising because this show isn't screened in America. They have America's Got Talent. I think the thing with this is that it's taken people by surprise. People didn't expect her to have such a great voice, as the judges said in the show, because of the way she looked, or her age, or her backstory. So I think it's really taken people by surprise as to how great her voice is.
Now, Scott, you try and make virals take off, don't you? That's your business. You try and get them out there. This must drive you mad. It sort of took off by its own accord.
No, we like to see great content. Great content is what takes off. You know, this is, Lee mentioned this is very surprising. It's also very touching, very moving. It's quite an inspirational video, and that's one of the things that makes stuff work online.
Well, let's just have a look at some of the blogosphere, and if we just cut to what some of the vlogs we've seen here. This blog has been comparing Susan Boyle's success against other famous videos, and the point about it is, it's not even, and the authors of the blog make the point here, Lee, it's in such a short time span. I mean, it's barely 10 days, is it? Not even 10 days, come to think of it, since the actual event took place.
Yeah, no, really fast. The speed has taken everyone by surprise. I was talking to people connected to the show last week, and they've never seen anything like it. The previous sort of biggest winner from this, Paul Potts, he took months to reach this this many hits on YouTube. So I think everyone is literally gobsmacked by this. I think you have to look at things like Twitter and Facebook as being something that has pushed this along, and these have become much more mainstream in the past year. So I think this is going to be something we're probably going to see more about.
Well, tell me about that, Scott. Do you agree? Are you now having to reach out to these other media because they feed off one another? You can't just be on one platform, you've got to be on all of them.
Yes, exactly, because it's not the web or it's not email that's made this clip so successful so fast, and it's the speed. But no, it's social media, it's Facebook, it's Twitter, it's social news sites like Dig, and these are all the sorts of places that brands and marketeers need to be if they want to connect with their audiences today.
And what do you think do you think this will go biggest? I mean, it's, you know, we're early days into it now. I suppose it's possible that this show, I know the Britain's Got Talent people say, well, hang on a minute, we've got some other surprises for you coming in future weeks. But Scott, I suppose this has got the potential to be right up there, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. I mean, it's already broken lots of records. It's done about 20 million views in its first 24 hours. That's faster than any of the other massive videos on YouTube. It's getting reposted on blogs to the tune of about 1,000 posts a day. It's being tweeted on Twitter once every minute or two. So the rate, the speed at which it's spreading is really phenomenal.
Now tell us, how do you replicate this, Scott? If you were asked then by a client to try and get their message out there, and you've done all sorts of bits of advertising and viral advertising, what are the tricks of the trade? What do you learn from this?
Well, I mean, the tricks are to look at what content works online in terms of the type of content that people really want to share, and it's got to touch people emotionally. So whether it's making them laugh or it's making them cry, and this is why, you know, Paul Potts a couple of years ago or Susan Boyle now, that's why it really works. And you've also got to look at the places in which the content has spread to. So again, Twitter, social networks like Facebook, and you know, lots of influential bloggers and lots of mainstream news sites posting the video, and this is kind of like the new PR, is working with thousands of influential bloggers to get the content out there and get YouTube videos watched outside of YouTube.
Do you think, Lee, that we're being spun in a sense? How do we make sure, how can we ensure that 100 million people have actually seen this? Is the data reliable?
I think it is. On YouTube you have this sort of counter at the bottom which tells you how many times people have actually watched these videos. We're hearing statistics from ITV as well, and saying they hit a million sort of page impressions, I think, over the weekend for the first time. So obviously we're taking their word for this. But obviously there are people like Hitbox and other sort of organisations which actually monitor this. But yeah, maybe there is a bit of spin in this as well, sort of pushing her forward. And obviously you have the TV show on a Saturday night which is pushing this as well. At the weekend 12 million people watched Britain's Got Talent. So there is a lot of push behind these acts.
Lee Holmwood, Scott Button, gentlemen, thank you both very much indeed.
Thank you.
Well, now